Hi guys, my name is Brian Hanson, and obviously I'm in the car right now. I'm a video production professional here in central Indiana, and today I am working a job for Business Insider, and this is taking me just across the border to Illinois. So what is the project? The project is to interview two people. I have a script that I'm going to follow, and I have questions that I'm going to follow that the client provided, but it is in a house and it's two people on camera at the same time. So how am I going to accomplish that? Well, I have two cameras with me, both my Panasonics, and I have my full audio package and my full lighting package with me. Um, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get there and I'm going to set this whole thing up in probably their living room, I'm guessing, but we'll see when we get there. Probably their living room, get all my gear loaded in, say hi to them, and then a couple hours into the shoot, I'm going to have to connect with the client on a call, and then the client will be there to help me through it and ask the questions. Actually, I'm asking the questions. The client just wants to be there to listen and monitor. So what are some of the challenges with this kind of thing? Well, obviously the drive, it's about a 2-hour drive, which isn't bad because I prefer driving to video shoots and not flying. Always prefer the drive, and that's because I can take my gear and I don't have to be as selective. I can bring more stuff and I can have more ability to be creative without the restraints of Pelican cases that I can only fit on an airplane. So I do like that. Challenge is going to be finding a good place in their house. I haven't been to the house yet. I haven't seen pictures. I don't know what I'm walking into. It's two older people. The topics are going to be surrounding retirement and stuff like that. So I'm going to probably have to move furniture. Normally you have to move furniture when you come into these kinds of houses. I have stools so that I can put them in the middle of the room if I need to. I don't like to use like couches and stuff to put people on. I like to put them in stools or just simple chairs so that they're sitting up straight and all that stuff. Again, two cameras, one wide and one tight. And then I'm going to put two wireless microphones on them and use my MixPre 10. Again, I'm an audio guy at heart, so I'm always going to bring the MixPre 10 if I can, and I'm always going to run my professional gear and time code and all that stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the two lavalier microphones. I'm going to run them into the wide camera, one on channel 1, one on channel 2. That's what the client's asking for. And then I'm going to run a reference mix using the auto mix function on the MixPre 10 to send a reference track to the other camera. So we'll be sending audio to two cameras. I'm going to set up my my Aperture 300s as my key lights, and I'm going to set up my 60Ds as the backlights. We're going to see if I have to play around with any negative fill. I might have to put in some negative fill just to get the sides of their faces a little more shadowed. We'll see how that goes. And then also, I'm just going to try and eliminate distractions in the shot. Again, this is a small town in Illinois, and I don't know how big the house is going to be. I'm kind of expecting it to be small. I'm kind of expecting it to maybe be a little cluttered and have some extra stuff in there. So I might have to get creative. I'm using my prime lenses so that I can have a nice depth of field and maybe blur out some of the stuff that's behind them that may not be great. It is Christmas time, so I'm going to try and minimize the amount of Christmas decorations and the Christmas feel that's in the shot. Again, I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to make sure that I don't move a lot of their stuff around, but I'm going to try to not date the interview to Christmas time, okay? Then some of the other challenges that you face when you're going into a situation like this is, what are the noises going to be like? Are they going to have a dog or multiple dogs that are going to be loud, that are going to cause issues? Because, you can't have a dog barking while you're trying to interview somebody. The other part of the job is I have to get B-roll of them doing daily activities. So whatever that is, reading newspaper, talking to each other, walking around, looking out the window, journaling, whatever they do. B-roll is very important to these projects because you really can never have enough. You can't have enough B-roll, okay? So when I get there, we are going to see how it goes, and we are going to see what we got to do. While we're driving over here, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the other jobs I've done in the past week. And my week started off with doing some installation work over at a venue. They just needed some wiring and some cables run and stuff like that for some TVs and things. It's a recurring client that I work with, so I helped them out with that. And then Tuesday night, I did a basketball game downtown Indianapolis at the Mad Ants, which is the G League team for the Pacers. Sometimes that means I shoot Mad Ants games, and sometimes that means I shoot Pacer games. And what I was doing down there is I was running handheld on the court. Can't take a lot of pictures while I'm doing that, but I tried to grab a couple. And then on Wednesday, I ran audio and multimedia for a special event at a venue here in town. It was a Christmas event for a local organization, and my job there was to just run the soundboard. It's a Behringer X32, and it was just some basic microphones. Nothing really all that complicated, but again, I do a lot of wide variety of things. One of the things I want to remind you of when you're a contractor is to track your miles. It's very important. And you can get a very significant tax deduction if all you do is just track your miles. You can use very simple apps, or you can just write it down in a notebook, or you can just take a picture of your odometer. Whatever system that you need to employ, you should do it, because it really helps when it comes to tax time to have a mileage deduction. I track every mile that I drive for all of these jobs. Today is going to be around 300 miles, and that is a good deduction. And if I don't track that, then I'm honestly leaving money on the table. So make sure that you track your miles. Then on Thursday morning, I did some work for a nonprofit. This was an audio job where I just brought my audio gear, and we were interviewing some leaders of this nonprofit that it's kind of the final touch on a video that we're doing for one of my recurring clients. And we were in an office that we had to turn into, an interview spot. And this was just one person talking on camera at a time. So I flew my microphone in on a boom stand and then made sure that it didn't, wasn't in the camera shots, all that stuff. And then I ran stereo audio feeds out to two of the Sony cameras that my client has. And it was great. I love working on those kinds of jobs where we can go in and get interviews with people that are meaningful and emotional. This nonprofit does great work, and it was just fantastic to be part of that. And then on Friday night, I had the chance to shoot some high school basketball. Again, one of my clients produces live streams for local TV and internet, YouTube, Vimeo, that kind of thing. It just depends, but they produce a lot of different high school and college and minor league live streams. So I was running camera one for high school basketball in Indiana, and that's like fantastic, honestly. That's high school basketball on a Friday night in Indianapolis, or Indiana for that matter, is it's just great. You know, the gym was excited, and these two teams were local rivals, and I was on the main cam, the camera one, which is the game camera, which is just what they use to, you know, cover the action. You're the main cover camera, so you're getting a half court shot back and forth of the action. No close-ups or anything like that. Had a headset on and was in with the director. He's calling the shots. It's a great crew. It's a lot of fun. And then I was back at it on Saturday morning. We went to a business expo, a small business expo, and we ran a bunch of interviews with the vendors and the people that were there. One of the challenges there was to minimize the background noise because we were in a very busy room, and on top of that, the room has a DJ that's playing music. So that makes it a little difficult to get good audio on interviews, but I was booming in. We had a crew, camera operator, and the client then was running the interviews, and then I was there with my audio boom. I had my harness on with my Mix Pre 10 right there mounted, and I was mixing, and we just had to be a little creative. We had to work with the DJ to get the DJ to turn the music down while we were running our interviews, and surprisingly, the DJ was into that. I was really kind of shocked by that. The DJ was into that. He turned down his music so that we could have good interviews. And then on top of that, I was able to use the noise reduction feature on the Mix Pre to really make it sound pretty good. So my goal in those situations is to be very honest with the client and say, all right, we're in this room and it's loud, but you can hear the voice clearly, but I just want you to know there is the background noises in there. There is some of this music that the DJ's playing. You just got to be straight and say, okay, I can get the voice to sound clear, but there's also some background stuff. And you just got to give the client the information, and if the client is like, yeah, cool, we're good, then we're good. So we just roll with it. We walked around the room, and we got lots of different interviews with lots of different vendors. It was fantastic. It was a great event. And then we had an interview station set up in the corner where we interviewed the leader of the event, and did just a couple more interviews there in the corner. And it was great. So then I had to come home, make sure everything was charged up, make sure all my media was offloaded, and I got everything sent off to everywhere that I needed to go. And then, like I said, I'm back on the road Monday morning here, and I'm on the way to this shoot here in Illinois. Okay, so I finished that one up. As I suspected, it was a small house. The people were awesome. They were super friendly and super accommodating. And we set them up in the middle of the room. Basically, I got in there and realized that it was a small house and the rooms were kind of small. So in order to get the best depth behind them, I kind of positioned them in one room and shot into another room. That's a common technique that we use when we set these interviews up. Like, a lot of times you'll set them in one room, and if there's a wide opening to the next room, you can benefit from the distance, because getting your subjects far away from the wall, or the background, if you will, whatever's in the back, is the best way to get distance and depth and all that stuff. So set up the wide camera and set up the close-up camera, but before I did any of that, I did all of my lighting. So why did I do the lighting first? Well, because I can envision the shot, but I can't do anything about it until I get the lighting up. So I staged all my gear on their front porch, set up all the stands, set up all the lights, and then moved them into the house one by one. We had to move a table, that's it. We just had to move a folding table that they used as like their kitchen table. It was tight quarters, but it worked. The client was on the phone, which was very helpful, and they provided feedback and tips and stuff like that as we were running the project and running the interview. And after that, I broke it all down and I focused on B-roll. And my B-roll mentality is to usually get way more than you think you'll need. So we broke them up into different parts of their house and filmed them separately and filmed them together and then filmed them with the dogs. And then I went outside and shot a bunch of B-roll outside of the house because the topic of the video was all about retirement and savings and life decisions and all that stuff. So and the house was part of the story, so wanted to do that. They were very nice and it worked out great. So that's gonna wrap this video. I hope that this has been helpful for you to see just a number of shoots and how they all came together for me in the last week. I got another 2 hours to get home. Make sure you do all the YouTube things, like liking and subscribing and all that stuff. And we will see you in the next one. Have a great day.